Can you create a full multiplayer collocated mixed reality experience in just 15 steps? And how difficult is it to test it without a physical device, right? Well, welcome back everyone. My name is Dilmer, and in today's video, I'll be helping you in answering those questions. Also, we're gonna go through the entire collocated workflow, including creating a Unity project with multiplayer building blocks, setting up an MR application in the Meta's development portal, creating test users, uploading our APK to an alpha release channel, and lastly, we're going to be adding MR UK and lightsabers that are fully set up with networking features. All right, let's jump into my computer and I start working on it. All right, guys, so the first thing that I want you to do is create a brand new project called Meta Collocation Demos, and then click on Connect to Unity Cloud. Then we're gonna go into Window Package Manager and add a couple of packages, starting with netcode for game objects. Then we're gonna be adding relay, and then lastly, we'll have lobby. We're also going to be adding learnxr.core, and that's going to be optional, but I have a few utilities there that I might use in these videos, so I'm just gonna have that as optional for right now. Then if you go under cloud.unity.com, this is where we can actually activate the services that we're gonna need for collocation. In this case, for the lobby, this is how you can activate it. And then if you go on the relay, you also have to go through these steps, and then it's going to activate it as well. All right, so now let's go ahead and go into player settings and make sure that you have your company, product name, and version all populated, as well as publishing settings. Here we can also make sure that we have our Unity project ID link, and then go into Meta Tools Building Blocks. And this is where we start to have fun, right? We're gonna be adding the collocation component, auto matchmaking, I'm gonna set it to on, and then also I'm going to be using netcode instead of photon. You can also enable the player name tag and also network grabbable objects. Those are gonna be components that we're going to be using today. And then if you associate the material to the cube, for some reason Meta has an issue with the standard versus the URP whenever you add some of these building blocks, specifically this one that we just added. So right now you can look at all the different dependencies that we have with the collocation component. Pass-through was added, camera rig was added, share spatial anchor core was added, and then these are going to basically help you getting collocation working, including the platform initialization. We're gonna need that user information back, so that's going to be useful for that. Also the network manager, this is what netcode is going to basically utilize to synchronize objects and the central hub for anything that we're dealing with networking. And then if you look at the auto matchmaking, this is gonna be handling, how to connect players together, and then going into the lobby service and communicating with that automatically. And then if you look at the collocation controller, there's also a collocation ready callback that we're gonna be using today. Also the spatial anchor that you see right now is going to be that global position rotation that is going to basically be shared across players. And then the player name tag is really helpful because it's going to basically display the name of each player as we're running the multiplayer experience. So now if we go into Meta Tools and then Meta Account Setup Guide, this is where we're going to be populating the app ID. And this is required for collocation to work, so just make sure that you follow these steps. So if you go to developer.oculus.com, this is gonna allow you to create a new app. I'm gonna name it Meta Collocation Official, and that's because I've been creating multiple instances. Also request access to user ID and user profile under data use checkup is going to be required if you're not using a test user, which in our case, we're going to be using a real Meta account as well as test users, which is going to allow me to log in as me and also have other users use the test users that I'm showing you in here. We're gonna be using these test users throughout today's video, so just make sure that you create some of them so that you can also test what I'm doing. And you can populate all this information, decide whether you wanna make it a Meta account, if you wanna create 1, 5. There's a lot of really cool features available with this. Then go into API and get the app ID. You can get it from the URL or you can copy it from the label that you see right here. Then go into Meta Account Setup Guide and then just go ahead and paste it. Lastly, we have to apply all the different fixes to the project setup tool because we added a lot of different building blocks. Okay, before we run this in Unity, I want you to install ParrelSync. So we're gonna go ahead and click on Releases and then download the Unity package for their latest version. then import it into Unity, and we're gonna be able to basically create multiple instances of Unity. So if you go to the toolbar, you're gonna see that we have a clones manager. Go ahead and create a new clone. You can create 1, 2, 3, and so on, depending on how much power you have on your computer. Then click on Open in Unity Editor, and you're gonna see in this case that we have 2 different instances of Unity, and also activate the Meta XR Simulator. So in this case, any movements that happen on one instance get synchronized to the other one. We can grab the cube. We also have the player name display correctly on the simulator, so everything is working. Now let's go ahead and enable Enhanced Spatial Services on your device before you run it on the actual headset. So you guys can see here that we're both collocated. I can move cubes around. We're trying to basically say hi. It looks like everything is working correctly. You can see that there is a spatial anchor on the floor, and that is a very important anchor that gets synchronized to collocate all the different clients. So you can also log in with test users by providing the username and password that we generated from the portal. You guys can see here that the Meta XR Simulator displays the test users correctly. Also, if you want to unblock sharing of spatial anchors, you have to upload your build at least once to one of the release channels, and also make sure that signing is enabled. Basically, you did the publishing settings under your project settings, and you provided a password on your key store. So now if you want to invite users, you can invite test users, you can invite real users. If you have a Meta account, then you can go into the, in this case, the alpha channel, and then click on users. And in my case, I'm going to be inviting myself and also a test user. So test user is added, you can see that on the type, and then my own account is also added. So once you do this, basically it's going to be deployed to your device. It doesn't get deployed automatically, but it's going to show under applications and not under unknown sources, actually on the real applications that you can install. Also, I'm going to show you how I can run the test account on one of the physical devices. In this case, I'm using one of the test accounts. You can see that I'm moving the cube. So in this case, I have the device, the physical device right now, I'm wearing it. And then I have the Meta XR Simulator reflecting the changes that happen when I move the cube around. Okay, before we add MRUK in Lightsabers, make sure to click on the meta link located in the description below, as it's going to provide you with a lot of helpful documentation on collocation and other multiplayer topics that are covered today. All right, guys, so now let's go ahead and clone this repo, which contains a variety of resources for the Lightsaber demo that we're going to be creating today. Basically, you can download it as a zip, or you can clone it by using Git. And then you can see here there's a couple of scripts that it includes, also different models. So all you have to do is basically just drag and drop the Lightsaber folder and then drop it under assets. Once you do that, you're gonna see that we have a Lightsaber with hand poses in here. And this model, this prefab specifically, allows you to change the opacity on the saber. This is something that I set up in advance so that you guys can see how it works. It also provides you with networking features. So this is all inheriting from the network behavior. And if you don't know much about how this works, I wouldn't really worry about it. You can just drag it and drop it. And then if you want to learn more about netcode, just make sure that you watch my video series on that. But the next thing that you need to do though is let's go ahead and clone the existing scene, and then we're just going to be creating a new one and then removing the cube. Then you can drag and drop the prefab in here for the Lightsaber. And just like I did with the cube before, we're gonna be offsetting that so that it is in front of the player. This is not gonna be just like this all the time. I'm going to be spawning these later on, but for now, just leave it like this. And then you also need to disable the stop action here on the particle system, because we're dealing with networking objects. We don't want the client to be destroying basically a network object, because it's gonna throw errors. So you wanna make sure that you disable that. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and create a variant, and then also associate my name tag, which is a modification of the original one. It just has a different style. Now, if you go back to multiplayer building blocks, you're gonna see that we can drag and drop our network grabbable object to our Lightsaber, which is basically gonna add all the different dependencies that we need. And then we also need to add these to the network manager as an object that is in the scriptable object. That way the network manager can basically spawn that later on. And then add the effect mesh, which is basically going to add MRUK, and that's going to allow us to do mixed reality features. Basically, we're going to add colliders in our scene because I want to be able to throw the lightsabers and then make sure that they collide with any objects that I have in the scene, such as tables and so on. And then I'm also going to be adding a material here to basically render walls. And then basically it's going to render anything that got generated through the scene model or through your boundary when you set it up. So once you get it basically cloned, you can just associate the plane to the mesh material on that effect mesh. And then make sure that we disable global mesh. I don't want to see the global mesh. In this case, I just want to see planes. So you guys can see here that we have the synchronization working on the lightsaber. We can see the particles are also getting, sent to the clients, and also the host is rendering that information. Movements are working. Everything is working really well. Now, this is just a review of what I did on the actual networking code. You can look at it in GitHub in more detail, but basically there's server RPCs and client RPCs that handle some of the activation of the fading and then fading out on the lightsaber. Now what I'm going to do though is I want this to be more dynamic, so I'm going to create a new script that is called the collocated area setup, and this is going to bind to the collocation controller to know when things were collocated. The reason for that is because I want to spawn multiple different lightsabers on a table. So I'm basically doing that right now, where I determine how many things I need to spawn. And then based on that amount, I'm going to find the largest surface, which happens to be a table. And if I find it, that's where I'm going to be placing the lightsabers on. So in this case, that is ready to go. Now we need to create a new game object that is going to basically have the script associated with. So let's go ahead and drag it and drop it. It's going to require that we basically add a network object because we're handling, we're spawning network objects, and that is going to be required. Then all you need to do is basically just associate the lightsaber variant that I created to the actual spawn object that I'm going to be designating, and also the controller for the collocation. So now you can see that as soon as I grab the lightsaber, I can move it around and things are getting synchronized. So the other player is moving the lightsaber. I see the changes in here. Also, if there were any particle effects that happens when the lightsabers cross each other, I can see that on my end, and the client can also see that on their end. You can also test this with the Meta XR simulator. In this case, I wanted to test with one client. You can see that I can grab the lightsaber, and this is basically just a single play, right? There's really no changes. I just wanted to show you that you can do that. Also, if you wanted to test it with 2 collocated clients on the Meta XR simulator, that works. Or if you wanted to do 3 clients, and that actually works as well. You can see how everything is getting synchronized to all the different clients, and it works really well. It's actually pretty fun to test it with the ParrelSync that we downloaded and installed initially. The other thing that you can also do is you can add the debug inspector to any of your hierarchy components, and this allows you to expose different members that you may want to know at runtime. And if you want to enable it, you can go to project settings and then Immersive Debugger. Now, if we run it, we can find out here what's happening behind the scenes. I happen to have some errors that I didn't know about. Also, you can change different values. Like right now, I'm changing the value of pass-through. That way I can see specifically the planes and not really the real world. And we can also look at the custom inspector, which happens to be server information for all the exposed members that we assign through the debug inspector. Well, that was pretty interesting to learn. And for those of you who are starting out with VR or MR development, be sure to watch the video above it, which is going to help you in getting everything set up. If you're creating a brand new Unity project, that video goes through that process. Also, be sure to comment below if you have any questions, like and subscribe, as it's going to help me in bringing you more videos. And big thanks to my patrons for supporting my content. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, everyone.